Hello, everyone. Welcome to Tokenized, a new episode. I haven't done this before. We're going to talk about blockchain asset law, which includes security tokens. You know, we've been talking a lot about security tokens. We're going to talk about Doug's company's Mango Farm products and a revolutionary new wallet that he just got patented. I don't know how he did it so fast, but he got patented, and we're going to talk about that. So let's jump right into things. Doug, will you introduce yourself?
Sure. It's first of all, it's a pleasure to be on the program. My name is Doug Pepe. I'm a lawyer in New York, Midtown Manhattan. I teach blockchain law and technology at George Washington University Law School in DC. Got a few startups in the space. I'm on the RavenCoin Foundation. I've been keenly interested in blockchain for a number of years, and interested in the legal issues, the technical issues, and really looking forward to talking to you.
Yeah, so let's jump right into the law part of it. A lot of people don't know I'm in law school at my advanced age. Yes, I know. It's like a hybrid law school. It's not going to be my main career. It's going to be for the crypto agency and some federal civil rights things that are going on here locally.
Outstanding.
So, but I'm very interested in the blockchain law and how it applies to crypto, whether it's security tokens or NFTs backed by assets or anything on the blockchain backed by assets, and how that compares to taking companies public, on the stock market or the pink sheets, what have you. So if you could summarize that and not bore the rest of the non-attorneys or people trying to be attorneys, that would be great.
Yeah, sure. I mean, the way I try to describe this to people who aren't attorneys is, so what is a blockchain asset? What is it, right? And everybody in the blockchain space, at least, knows what a Bitcoin is. And what is a Bitcoin? A Bitcoin is a something that people transact in, right? Alice and Bob, they can send each other Bitcoins back and forth. And it's a little bit of, letters and numbers that we say has value. So it's sort of raw value. And it's native to the Bitcoin chain. A blockchain asset is a little bit different. What it is it's sort of an empty vessel. It rides on the rails of a blockchain, just like a Bitcoin. But unlike a Bitcoin, you can sort of fill it with legal rights and obligations. So that's where lawyers, that's where I come in, and that's where, you come in when you get your law degree. What do you fill it with, and how do you give it meaning and legal import, right? So the difference between a house title on the blockchain, the difference between a securities token on the blockchain, the difference between a JPEG, which is basically, an NFT, which is basically a copyright of the right to, use, transfer, or display a piece of art on the blockchain. The difference between all of those three things, other than that the NFT has a picture, is a bundle of legal rights and obligations. So you can put anything on the blockchain, from a contract to a security to a commodity to a title to a real world asset, and it's really just filling an empty vessel with legal rights and obligations that trade back and forth just like a Bitcoin. Hopefully, on a decentralized basis, on a decentralized blockchain. But blockchain provides the rails. It's a lot like paper, right? You can write anything to it. And the interesting part for me is, sort of that intersection between the law and the technology, where you're taking legal concepts like titles and putting them on the blockchain in a way that has, legal effectiveness. So I hope that wasn't too boring for the non-lawyers.
No, not at all. No. I do have some questions for you, though. First of all,
sure.
Is it executing parts of the contract, the legal contract on the blockchain, or is it just storing the contract in a cell, so to speak, or in a block on the blockchain?
It could be both, right? And it depends in many respects on the blockchain that you use. And transactions on a blockchain themselves could be called in the nature of contractual exchanges, right? So it's sort of all three components. You can take a regular garden variety contract, PDF it, hash the PDF, put that hash on a blockchain, and have that ride on the rails of the blockchain. That's sort of the first category you're talking about. The other is smart contracts and complex scripts in the case of Bitcoin. And those things can be binding contractual relationships between the parties, sort of offer an acceptance and bargain for exchange sort of written into the scripts. That's An atomic swap is a simple example of that. And then you can sort of you can broaden it out to all different categories of contractual rights and obligations. So it could be anything, right? All of the above. And that's what's neat about blockchain is it's not just sort of a one-size-fits-all solution. It's a tool. And I use paper as the analogy because that's what it is. What you write on a piece of paper is what determines sort of what the inherent value of what's on that paper is. And you can write all sorts of things, from a poem to drawing a picture to writing a contract for $1 billion company.
Yeah, but paper doesn't monitor and enforce certain legal obligations where the blockchain can.
Yeah, that's true. And blockchain adds a lot of value both in terms of the sort of enforcement mechanism of scripting languages, and in the case of Ethereum, smart contracts and other projects. And another thing that it sort of adds is the ability, almost instantaneous provenance. So when you deal with a blockchain like Bitcoin, and these ordinals and inscriptions, or like RavenCoin that has blockchain assets sort of baked into the UTXO set, the transaction set on the blockchain, those types that establishes immediate, initial provenance and establishes a chain of title, which has a lot of benefits for things like, tokenized real estate, which I think we're going to probably get into, artwork, other sorts of things. So blockchain adds a lot of value. And if a blockchain is decentralized with no sort of trusted third party to mediate transactions, it also adds, cost savings, because you spend a lot of money. We don't even realize how much money we spend in this world in everyday transactions, ranging from our regular financial transactions to the purchase and sale of our house and our car. We don't really give a lot of thought to how much money we're really giving to third parties to do something that is, for all intents and purposes, today superfluous. You don't need it. Blockchain sort of takes care of it. I totally
agree. I mean, look at title insurance. It is absolutely not needed. Title insurance, and every time you refinance, even if it was 2 months ago, you're still paying a big, hefty fee to check that 2 months to make sure nothing happened on title from that 2 months. Where a blockchain, it's all there. Like you said, there's provenance, but there's also any transactions could be quickly identified to see if it's clean title or not. It's crazy, but nobody's been able to figure that out. I don't know why. I don't know if it's title insurance companies that are trying to block it or legislation. Who knows?
Well, I don't know if it's blocking so much as title insurance title for housing is a little bit of a difficult situation in the U.S., right? Because that's decentralized. It's centralized and decentralized. It's a function of the law of each individual state, and then the books are actually recorded by the county clerks in each county, right? So you have to it's like voting systems. You have to change sort of the hearts and minds of county clerks to adopt this kind of technology. But you're 100% right. I mean, there's no reason right now why you should have to pay a title insurer every transaction in a piece of real estate and pay a lawyer to do a title search, which it sounds like you know a lot about real estate.
Yeah.
Lawyers don't actually do title searches. They farm it out to the title company anyway. It's not done correctly. It's inaccurate. And ultimately, you're relying on the title insurer. It should be insured at initial provenance. The first time a piece of real estate is put on the blockchain, you insure it once, right? And that insurance should carry forward. It'd be much cheaper. You don't have to pay a lawyer $500 or $1,000 or $2,000 or $3,000. You don't have to pay a title insurer $1,700. And you can look it up, like you can look up a Bitcoin on a block explorer and find out who owned that piece of real estate immutably.
To me, it should be like Carfax. Everything that has to do with that house should be recorded on that blockchain. That house should be tokenized. Maybe it's one token. If you want to fractionalize something, a bigger project, that's fine. And then every time you borrow or sell or do anything with it, it's all right there. That would cut down so much cost. But that's a whole other show. Let's get on to what I'm very enthusiastic about, which is your new wallet that you've created. And I don't know if it's specific to blockchain assets or security tokens or all the above, but please let us know what you've done.
Sure. So, I'll tell you about the wallet. It's called Ice Wallet. It has been in pre-production now for, I invented it a couple of years ago, 3 years ago. We started producing it. I made a prototype 2 years ago, and we started, making I would call it the production beta. It took about 2 years to build. We're now sort of in the pre-production phase of getting it out. I scrapped something that we were doing and revised it. So I'm a bit of a perfectionist, and it wasn't how I wanted it to be. So we scrapped it, and we're redoing some things. Here's what it does. It's an optical transmission system where there's no connection to any computer or device or anything like that. It's no Wi-Fi or Bluetooth connection, and it communicates back and forth optically and allows you to transact like a hardware wallet, but it's cold storage, transact in blockchain assets of all kinds. So right now, it's the RavenCoin blockchain is the number one focus because I'm sort of a keen supporter of RavenCoin because of its decentralization and sort of the ethos of the project. I'm sort of a firm believer that the rails of a blockchain need to be decentralized, because if they're not, someone ultimately will control it. And if someone ultimately controls it, then they're going to control those fees we were talking about, and that sort of the friction of exchange is going to go to someone, and that's the whole point of a decentralized blockchain.
Also, the government can come in and start messing with it.
Sure.
And because the company, the owner of that company that's managing it doesn't want to be arrested, and we saw from the Twitter files that government will put pressure on you and infer certain things will happen if you don't follow their lead. No thanks. I think decentralization is the only way to go here.
And even if you're not sort of a hardcore or to the core libertarian, right? It's not government. It's a government, right? There are lots of different governments out there, including governments that sort of take their citizens and lock them in holes, right? So it's not we live in America, and there European countries and whatever. We have sort of degrees of freedom that parts of the world can't even comprehend. And it's sort of a great notion from my perspective to inject into places like North Korea the ability for people to be able to transact without their government sort of shutting it down. But anyway, so Ice Wallet is it's sort of a neat system. It works on RavenCoin. We're adding Bitcoin to it after RavenCoin, and it's coming out soon. It's pretty neat. And look, when it was invented, there's nothing out there like it now. And I invented it 3+ years ago, right? So it's taken a while to get out, but it is still way ahead, I believe, of other products that are out there. And there's another piece to it, which I can't really say what the technical aspect of it is, but there's a new method of communication on a cold storage device, non-optical, that I really invented. Again, we're updating the patent, and there's nothing like it. Zero. There's no product out there in the universe that is in.
And when did you say it was coming out?
So I don't predict, because there's a lot of work still to be done in terms of the hardware manufacturing, but soon. I mean, really soon. It was ready. It was ready 2 months ago. I pulled the plug. It was too slow. That's what happened. And so I pulled the plug. We redesigned the sort of the guts of it. There's a new chip that we're putting on it, and refactored some of the code. So that's all in process right now. The internal deadline is to be done by the end of March. Things like that slip. So April, May.
Okay. Yeah, it's very soon. So
when you told me we were going to talk about it, I pulled my patent off the wall. So everybody can say, I'm so proud of this, because I'm a lawyer. And for me, like going back to my tech roots and doing something like getting a patent on a hardware wallet, for me, it was one of the highlights of my life. So I'm pretty excited about it.
Love it, Doug. Love it. So let's get into the other Mango Farm products that you have, and let's talk about those.
Sure. So Mango Farm is a wallet on the RavenCoin blockchain. It is sort of, I would call it a one-stop shop for creating and transacting in blockchain assets, which can be anything from anything you want to issue, anything you want to write on that piece of paper or that empty vessel. So you can put an NFT on it in 5 seconds, right? Create a blockchain asset, create an NFT. It's got licensing terms that you can add, sort of legal terms that you can give content. It's something that people don't think about, right? It's not just a picture. There's a big Supreme Court case going on right now about an Andy Warhol painting that was over a photograph and whether it's fair use, right? And it's a license dispute, essentially. The terms and conditions, legal terms, are important. So when you're issuing an NFT, you're an issuer, and you've got this cool picture that you made, and you want to issue it and want to sell it to people. So you take the picture, you make the picture, you hash it, you put the hash on the blockchain, and then you sell it to somebody. What does that person buy? Right? So they're buying one of a couple of things. And I'm going to ask you this, Mark. I mean, are they buying a hash, which is a series of letters and numbers? Are they buying, they're definitely buying a token, right? But are they buying a hash with that token? Are they buying the right to open the picture and reference the picture, like click on the hash and find the picture and display it on their screen? Are they buying the right to display it to other people? Are they buying the right to sell the hash? Are they buying the right to sell the NFT? Are they buying the right to put it into a museum, donate it to a museum? When you sort of peel the onion of those legal issues, nobody's answering those questions.
There's another one, I think. Let's say, I'm going to make something up. Let's say Bank of America wants to display this in every lobby that they have because they love it so much. Do I have the right to license that NFT that I own to a big institution to make money off it? I've never got that question until.
There was an almost big case about that, and it never went anywhere. But yes, none of that stuff is decided. So the reason I mention this is one of the things that Mango Farm, which traces its origins to exactly this issue. Before there was such a thing as NFTs, Mango Farm, the point of it was to allow people to put legal rights onto a blockchain asset and transact in them. So like if you make an NFT on Mango Farm, you can make what we call custom assets where you can add legal terms. And it says, these are the rights and obligations of subsequent purchasers. This is the license that I'm granting to them. And it specifies that sort of thing. So you can do it with NFTs. You can do it with, another example I give is, my house, right? Assuming my county would recognize it, if I take a picture of my house and I put it on the blockchain, right? And I send it to you and you buy it. Are you buying my house? Are you buying a picture of my house? What are you buying? A hash of a picture of my house? So this, Mango Farm was designed to allow you to do that. And it does. It's mobile friendly. It's web-based. It's got a really cool user interface, mostly geared towards NFT folks. But we white label it. So we've got a diamond platform that uses it. They're tokenizing diamonds in Canada, very large diamond platform. We have a company called Athlete Assets, which does NCAA name, image, and likeness NFTs. Athletes make these little cards, 3D cards that spin, and they're like baseball cards, and they sell them so they can make money. We've got a bunch of projects. We've got an identity platform that uses it. So the guts of Mango Farm is sort of an engine that then we give Mango Farm away for free, but we use the engine to sort of make revenue to keep the wheel spinning.
Good. Excellent. Well, we got to wrap things up right now, Doug. How do people get a hold of you or find more information?
Sure. I'm at Twitter at Mango Farm Assets. Our website is mangofarmassets.com, and on that it's got sort of a banner display of a bunch of different products that we have and services. We have an IPFS platform, for example. Legally, you can reach me at my law firm is Cohen and Gresser. You can Google me. My name is Doug Pepe. If you Google me, like all of the above come up. So if it's my professor hat, you get the GW site. If it's my legal hat, you get my Cohen and Gresser site. And if it's my blockchain hat, you'll get a bunch of videos, and then you'll ultimately find Mango Farm.
Well, that's the benefit of having a unique name like mine. I mean, there's me and one other person with my same name that comes up, but my results dominated. I'm sure it pisses them off. But
when you have a name like Pepe, though, I mean, there's Jeans, there's the frog, and there's the skunk. So you have to overcome all of that.
All right. Well, with that, great having you on the show, and
you too.
Loved talking the law, even though a lot of people here probably didn't enjoy it as much as we did. But the wallet that's coming looks phenomenal. Check out Mango Farm. Check out the product, especially if you're interested in blockchain on the assets on the blockchain or security tokens.
Great.
I'm bringing you my latest recommendation, and that is Tetragard. Tetragard is a basket of tokens, like an ETF almost, that's got Bitcoin, Ethereum, PaxG, and a fee token called Quadrant. All wrapped up. You buy it in one spot using Ethereum. The link to buy is right here. And by holding this basket of tokens called Tetragard, you get paid rewards just to hold the top tokens in the world. You can't go wrong. You'd be crazy to buy these tokens separately and not get anything for them when you can just do it all at once in one spot and get paid rewards as long as you hold that basket of tokens. Again, Tetraguard, you won't go wrong.